What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. This week's episode is going to be a very intriguing one because I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of NXT New Year's Evil and what exactly could we expect from New Year's Evil. So the fallout of NXT WAR Games was absolutely insane. We saw Braun Breaker pin Tommaso Ciampa, which made their rivalry one fall apiece, which was kind of interesting. And there was a lot of other things that we experienced at War Games, which I'll be talking about here in just a moment. But I want to showcase, excuse me, to you guys, the card from last year's New Year's Evil. So we had Karrion Kross versus Damian Priest. This was back when Kross was still in WWE. But we had also found out the winner of this match would face either Finn Balor or Kyle O'Reilly for the NXT title, which I believe would take place. What was it? I think it was Stand and Deliver or something like that. Then we had Santos Escobar versus Gran Metalik when Gran Metalik was still in WWE for the Cruiserweight title. This was actually off of the fact that Metalik and Lince Dorado actually defeated Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza on the last NXT of 2020 in order for Metalik to get that opportunity. Then we had Tommaso Ciampa versus Timothy Thatcher inside the fight pit, which was basically, it was just a match based on respect, which was quite the matchup to say the very least. Then we had Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez in a last woman standing match. This was as hard hitting as it could get. It was just crazy. And then, of course, we have Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly for the NXT title. I believe he did get, I believe it was at Stand and Deliver, if I remember correctly. But that was the card. Yeah. That was the card for last year's New Year's Evil, but there are so many things that we can expect to see happen at this upcoming year's New Year's Evil, which will be, I believe, January 4th. I believe they announced it. They announced it for Tuesday, January 4th. And in my opinion, I'm not so sure if this upcoming card will top this card, because if you think about it, hang on one second. Sorry guys, shout outs to Starbucks for the triple shot, not sponsored, just a big fan of Starbucks, and their coffee is good. There we go. Sorry guys, I had a little something got caught my throat, so that's why I keep coughing. Anyway, case in point. Anyway, so as I mentioned before, this is basically coming off the fallout from War Games, where we saw Braun Breaker literally pin Tommaso Ciampa inside of War Games, which makes their rivalry one fall apiece. Now is the rubber match for the NXT Championship. So I can guarantee you this will be one of the big matches that we will see on the card for New Year's Evil, given the fact that Tommaso Ciampa, he's been champion since the rebranding, if you will, of NXT, when it became, what we now see as NXT 2.0, which, I mean, his first run as NXT champion, he was a hell of a champion. a hell of a champion, taking on the best of the best and whatnot. So you know this match will take place at New Year's Eve. Another thing that I also want to mention that is the fact that last week on NXT to close out the show, Johnny Gargano had revealed that in February his wife Candice LeRae was gonna be giving birth. So shout outs to them, congrats on the newborn, obviously in advance. But it was what happened after that. But it was what happened during that promo that seemingly caught my eye. And it was the fact that Grayson Waller came out and hit him with a steel chair and sent him through a table. So one of three things must happen. Either A, it'll be LA Knight versus Grayson Waller, as LA Knight stands up for Johnny Gargano. B, kind of a weird thought, but maybe perhaps Vic Joseph, the commentator, gets involved in all this, given the fact that he's been friends with Gargano for years, or perhaps this upcoming Tuesday it'll be Grayson Waller versus Tommaso Ciampa, which is a possibility, but at the same time I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure, but but I think the I think the number one answer here would have to be Waller versus Knight, because if you guys remember at War Games, it was Team Black and Gold, which was the captain Tommaso Ciampa, the NXT champion, the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano, and LA Knight. They banded together based off of three things. Number one is the respect they have for one another. Two is the fact that they did not like the way that Team 2.0 disrespected Team Black and Gold. And three is the fact that is basically that the fact that they were a part of the Black and Gold brand, as opposed to now, I don't know, maybe tie-dye brand? I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of a weird one. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments. Is it tie-dye or is it paint? Because it kind of looks like tie-dye to me. Let me know, guys. Let me know in the comments. I'm curious. I'm curious to see the comments of what you guys think about that. I'm very curious. But yeah. Waller versus Knight definitely needs to happen. Pete Dunne versus Tony D'Angelo definitely needs to happen. That's another really big match that should definitely happen. Roderick Strong versus Carmelo Hayes. That is a match I would love to see for a multitude of reasons. Number one is the fact that Roderick Strong is the Cruiserweight champion. Carmelo Hayes is the North American champion. Roderick Strong has been North American champion before, but for him to become a two-time champion would say a lot. And truth be told, they're both under the 205 weight limit, so it would only make sense for that match, to take place. As far as the NXT Women's title goes, I mean, I would say make it a fatal four-way. Gonzalez, I would say make it a fatal four-way. Raquel Gonzalez, Cora Jade, Dakota Kai, Mandy Rose. Make it a fatal four-way for the title and call it a day. Plain and simple. As far as the women's tag team titles go, I'm not so sure. I don't know because I know that Zoe Stark is still recovering from her knee injury at the hands of Toxic Attraction, of course. So it is possible that we could see Zoe Stark return, but it won't. It probably won't be. It probably won't be at the time of New Year's Evil. It'll probably be around the time of like, I don't know, maybe the next big. I would say the next NXT Takeover, right around the time of WrestleMania weekend. I would estimate, because with knee injuries, you're taken out, especially in WWE. Once you have a knee injury and you have to have surgery, you're gone for what, at least what, 6 months? At least 6 months. So I would say what, so this happened what, last month? So November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So yeah, so I would say right around like May, right around the summer. I would say right around the summer she'll be coming back. But as far as the NXT Tag Team titles go, I'd say make it a battle royal. Because if you think about it, Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen want their shot at the tag team titles. Grizzly Young Veterans have been owed, quote unquote, owed a regular tag team 2-on-2 match for the NXT tag team titles. The Creed brothers have been wanting their shot for like a minute now. And not only that, but MSK, they're owed a rematch because they lost the titles. They lost the titles to Imperium, so obviously they are owed a rematch for the NXT Tag Team titles. So I could definitely see it becoming a fatal five-way. Maybe even tag team turmoil. That could be interesting. That could be very interesting. There are other rivalries that could also happen as well, but I think honestly, if we're gonna be completely honest, I think the biggest con of this whole thing are obviously the ratings, because I believe the ratings were really low for last year's for New Year's Evil. I believe the ratings for last year's New Year's Evil was kind of a downer. It was kind of a downer, to say the very least. In fact, I think I think the ratings, they ended up being so low. I think AEW actually beat NXT with the ratings. I don't remember, but yeah, obviously ratings is gonna be a big downfall. Another downfall is the fact that we may not see these matches on the card. We may end up seeing just a bunch of random bullshit, which, to be fair, it has happened a few times in the past where I've talked about what matches we need to see on a certain card. Some we get, most we don't. But this, I would consider that card alone to be the perfect New Year's Evil card. Making it like a 2.5 hour show. I would say make it a 2.5 hour show with that card, and I can pretty much guarantee, I can assume, I believe in my heart that the ratings could go up, because I know the ratings have gone to an all-time low, especially throughout this whole year. Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, the ratings for all three shows have gone to an all-time low. It's gotten to the point now where rumor has it that both USA and Fox, no big shout out, no copyrights. You guys know how this works. But there's been rumors that they're going to potentially cut their ties with WWE. So, is it possible? Who knows? But overall, I think those are just some of the things that we do, that we need to see. But I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that at New Year's Eve we're probably going to see another Von Wagner squash match. We'll probably end up seeing I don't know, another Tony D'Angelo squash match. Couple of championship matches. I'll say the tag titles and the Cruiserweight title and the NXT title, and that's it. That's probably what we're gonna expect to see, because it happened last year. We only had what 2 titles defended. We have 2 titles defended last year's, the Cruiserweight title and the NXT title. There needs to be a card where all the rivalries must be dealt with. This card, where we had Cross versus Priest, Escobar versus Metalik, Ciampa versus Thatcher, Ripley and Gonzalez, Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly. Out of all those matches, only 2? Only 2 were brutal matches. Last Woman Standing and the NXT title match. The other 3 squash matches. They were just squash matches. So that brings me to the question of the day: what match or matches do you guys want to see take place at NXT New Year's Evil 2022? Let me know in the comments below, and that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue, which get posted every Monday, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My links will be in the description below. And if you guys have any fan mail you want to send me and want me to open up on the channel, my address will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.